What's going on, everybody? I am Kevin Britton. I am host of the 12th Man at Arrowhead Drive. Be sure to tune in every Sunday and Wednesday for all your Chiefs content right here on Stadium Drive Sports. Sean will be joining us here shortly. Sean Barr hosts the Royal Way every Monday and Thursday, bringing you all of the Royals content here on Stadium Drive Sports. And then we do have a new show, Fantasize This, that airs on Fridays, bringing you all the fantasy information that you need to help you bring home the prize and the pride in your fantasy football league. And if you guys have any questions for us, whether it be Royals related, Chiefs related, or fantasy related, you can always send us an email at stadiumdrivesports@gmail.com. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel, or if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. It would mean a lot to us. And then also, if you guys do like the content, make sure to hit that thumbs up and like the video. That way we know you guys like what we're doing here. And feel free to leave a comment. We always want to interact with you guys. And that's what this live show is all about. Now, if you're unable to make the live, you can always email your questions to us at stadiumdrivesports@gmail.com, and we will show your question here on the live and answer that for you. But if you are here on the live, feel free to post your questions in the live chat, and we will react to them right here live. So I appreciate you guys tuning. This is the Combo Show Live. We do this every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time. Myself and Sean, who will be joining us here shortly. So we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will get this going for you guys here in just a quick moment. All right, guys. So I am back after taking a little weekend off, a little rest and relaxation, a little R&R, but I'm excited to be back. I like interacting with you guys. Definitely look forward to answering your guys' questions. I know we got a few emails from you guys, so we'll be answering those for you here today. And again, if you guys are watching live, feel free to interact with us right here in the live chat. Looks like we have Chase joining us. What's up, Chase? Appreciate you watching. And he wants to know what's next for the Royals. Probably another loss. That's my guess. Last time I looked, they were just wrapping up today's game. Let me see if that went final. I know we were down 8-3. We were in the ninth. Yep, looks like that one did go final. So what's next for the Royals? Another loss. I'll let Sean chime in on that. If you want to ask that again after Sean gets here, I'm sure he would love to answer. He loves interacting with you guys. But realistically speaking, like what's next? I don't think a lot of changes are going to happen, to be honest with you, Chase. I think they're just going to kind of stay the course this year. Now, my hope is, I'm a football guy, so I'm hoping they treat the All-Star break how the football teams treat the bye week, and that's kind of that moment to stop and reassess and make necessary changes. So my hope is at the All-Star break we take a look and we make some necessary changes. Now, are we going to end up competing this year? No, we're not. We're not going to be competing this year. But I think we can make some appropriate changes, and I hope that includes Carlos Santana out of the lineup, Ryan O'Hearn out of the lineup. Definitely not having both of them in the lineup at the same time. That's an utter disaster. So if we're not going to get rid of them, let's at least be wise about how we do our lineups and not have both of them in there. And we'll kind of see what happens moving forward from there. But again, I'll let Sean answer that as well. He stays very up to date on what's going on with the Royals. But yeah, let's take a look. I know we had some questions here. Again, if you guys have any other questions or comments, feel free to post them. I will throw them up on the screen and we'll react to them live. But I also want to hit on some of the emails that we got as well. Quincy emailed us and asked, "Do you still think that the Chiefs will get an extension done with Brown?" So, Orlando Brown Jr., the Chiefs left tackle, we put the franchise tag on him. He hasn't signed it as of yet. I think he has until like September or something like that to actually sign the franchise tag. It's like right at the beginning of the season. But I'm sure we're still working on an extension. We have until I think it's mid-July to actually get an extension done. The problem is he doesn't have an agent. He says that he's interviewing and looking for an agent actively, but underlying, is he stalling? Is he kind of stalling out on getting an agent, kind of pushing this back where an extension can't get done? I mean, I think that's something that could be possible. I don't know if he's weighing options of possibly, representing himself, or is it just as simple as he hasn't found an agent that kind of aligns with what he's looking for? Could be either. If I was a betting man, I don't think we'll get an extension done, just to be honest with you. There's rumors out there that Orlando Brown Jr. is wanting to be the highest paid left tackle in the league. I think that's a bit much. I don't see a way that we make him the highest paid left tackle in the league. He's been a left tackle for what, 2 seasons? Not even that, because that last year in Baltimore, he only played over there partially, so not even 2 full seasons. And he's definitely not the best left tackle. If you guys watched my previous video where I broke down the AFC West, he's not even the best left tackle in his own division. I think that he could be teetering in that top 5 range because, again, as the salary cap goes up, other people's numbers will overtake his on where it ranks in the hierarchy of paydays. But I think top 5, I think it would make sense. But if I was betting on it, I don't think that we're going to get an extension done before the season. I could be wrong, but that's just my thoughts on it. Let's see. Chase says Orlando Brown isn't elite. I feel they would be paying him only because they gave up first. Yeah, I mean, us giving up that first round pick definitely does kind of tie us to him a little bit. And I think you pay him a little higher because of it. And I agree, he's not elite, but he's also only like 25, 26 years old. He definitely still has room to grow. And if you look at it, if we were to do a 5-year contract for him, let's look at, towards the end of that contract, year 4 or 5, where is he going to rank by that time, right? If you say he's, what, top 10, let's call him number 10 left tackle in the league right now. I think that's fair to say. Well, let's look 5 years down the road. Some of your Trent Williams and some of your older guys, they will be retired by that time. That's going to bump them up just based on attrition from around the league. That's going to bump them up to probably number 6 right there. But there's also people ahead of him that I think have kind of capped already. They've already hit their ceiling. I think he still has a lot of room to grow. So I think that if we look towards the tail end of that contract, which the Chiefs typically do backload those contracts, they pay more money at the end of them, then I think by the time we get to his 4th year of his contract, I think he would be in that top 5 range of left tackles in the league. Again, based on attrition from around the league, based on his own growth and development, I think he would be around top 5. So year 4 of a 5-year contract, that's really where you get to the point where you're actually coming out of pocket top 5 money. And I think if you do kind of project it, I think he would be top 5 come that time. So again, I think if we're paying him top 5, 5th most, 4th most, somewhere in there, even 3rd possibly, I think that's where it starts to make some sense, just because you can project where he's going to be in the future in comparison. And plus, by the time you get to that 4th year, even if you make him the, say, 4th highest paid left tackle, by the time you get to that 4th year, he's probably going to be the 11th, 12th highest paid because of the other contracts that are signed between now and then, with the salary cap going up as well. So again, top tier, like top of the line, setting the market money, no, I'm not with that. But I do think if you're paying him, that number 4 or 5 money, I think that could be a really good deal if we look into the future on that. But appreciate the question from you. Appreciate the comment, Chase, as well. Let's see what else we got here. I will skip over the Royals question right now. Let me hop to another Chiefs question here for us. I don't want to get through all the Royals questions before Sean joins us, so he'd be kind of disappointed. But Alan asked, what wide receivers will get the 5th and 6th spot on the depth chart? Good question. I appreciate that, Alan. So let's start just for anybody that may not be up to date on the roster. Top 4 are kind of locked in at the receiver position. You have Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Marquez, not Marquez, Marquez. I will reiterate that for him. He's been very adamant about people pronouncing his name correctly. It's Marquez. If you can't get that right, just call him MVS. So we got Juju, we got MVS, we have Mecole Hardman, of course, still on the roster, and then you have the rookie Sky Moore. Those are your top 4 pretty well locked in. I think you're spot on with saying the 5th and 6th because I think we do keep 6 wide receivers here, Alan. So who would be the 5th and 6th? Well, let's start by looking at who are the options. So you have Josh Gordon, you have Daurice Fountain, you have Justin Ross, and you have Justin Watson as well. I think those are your kind of 4 main guys that would be kind of vying for that spot. I think Justin Ross does make this roster, and I think that he is somebody that is going to start to develop and groom and kind of pick up steam as the year goes along. And I think that last spot, I think it's really going to come down to Fountain or Watson because typically that number 6 wide receiver spot is a core special teamer that plays a little bit on offense. Josh Gordon's not that guy. Josh Gordon is not going to be out there and handling business on special teams. So I think it's going to be Watson, who Mahomes has given praise to, saying, he's the fastest route runner he's seen. But Fountain also does play special teams, so Fountain would make a lot of sense as well. Flip a coin on those 2 guys. I would go with Fountain just because of his experience in the offense.
Yo.
See who we got here.
Oh, hey, stranger.
Well, what's going on, Sean?
Hey, it's rainy over here in Kansas City.
Nice of you to join us, sir.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Is it?
I just figured I'd be, myself and just be a little late. Kind of like my episodes. Last couple of them have been a little bit late.
Fair enough. I gave your intro, but I don't want to short you on your own intro. Hey, Sean, let the people know.
Hey, I've got the Kansas City Royals shows for you. You like some baseball? I've got your local team every Monday and Thursday right here on Stadium Drive Sports. It's called The Royal Way. And I welcome you, Royals Empire, to join me then.
Absolutely. And again, if you guys are new, feel free to subscribe, hit that thumbs up if you guys do like the content. Leave some comments. Sean definitely, I know Sean wants his show to be very interactive. We both do here at the Combo Show as well. So leave some comments. We definitely appreciate that. Just so you know, Sean, we have Chase in the house hanging out with us here today. Let's see. Chase says, if the Chiefs defense start slow like last year, does Spags get fired mid-season? I would be pretty quick to say no for a couple of reasons. One, Spags defense always starts slow. So it's hard to say that it won't turn itself around when it has turned itself around, at least to a certain extent, so many times in the past before. Also, Andy Reid is a very loyal guy. And when was the last time you've seen him make any type of big moves, whether it be roster moves, coaching moves, or anything mid-season? It just doesn't really happen much with Andy Reid. So I don't think so. And I believe, don't quote me on this, there is no factual information out there. I think Spags might be on the last year of his deal. And the reason I say that is our now former defensive backs coach went to Miami. And when he left during his presser, he thanked Andy Reid for letting him out of the last year of his contract, meaning this would be his last year on the defensive coaching staff. A lot of the time, the coaching staff, they kind of all have similar contract lengths. Now, the Chiefs don't put out their assistant coaches and their coordinators like what their contracts are, so we really don't know for sure. So I am speculating on that, but just trying to connect the dots. I think this might be the last year on Spags' contract, but no, I do not think that we would see a change mid-season. Sean, I skipped over a Royals question for you, and also Chase had a question. Can you hear me okay? I'm getting some feedback on my side. Can you hear me okay? Can I hear you? Nope, I cannot hear you, Sean. Check your mic plug. Check your mic plug. I need one of those signs that pops up on the screen and says technical difficulties. I don't know why I don't have one of those. Still nothing. I'll bear with you while you work on it there, though. I see Joe Prince is in the house. Joe Prince says he hears aliens. So if you want to know the sound that's coming through, you got Marvin the Martian right now.
I don't know. My best guess is it's StreamYard.
Yeah, and it may be. I
don't know. It ain't.
I can hear you now.
Tell you. Okay.
You're good. I can hear you just fine now.
Me, huh?
I did a couple of them. Chase asked very simply, what's next for the Royals? I'll tell you what my answer was, and then you can give yours because yours is going to be a lot more profound than mine. Mine was probably another loss.
That's a pretty good guess. It's a pretty good guess.
What's next?
Well, it's mainly because we can't get out of the first inning itself. You know, we're 0-18 when trailing in the first. If we're not in the lead in the first, we lose. And that is now 0-19 after this game. So that's not good. The Cubs are about the only other team that is close to us, and they're like 0-6 when it comes to it. But the point is, we're not getting ahead of these teams. We're not getting ahead in the count when it comes to pitching against these batters. That was our main emphasis, is first pitch strikes. Haven't been able to do it. We haven't been able to hit any of our goals at all. About the only thing to look forward to in this Royal season right now is some sparks of young talent that we've seen with Brady Singer, sometimes Daniel Lynch, and some of the players on the offensive side with MJ Melendez and Bobby Witt Jr. But besides that, what's next for the Royals? I think Kevin kind of nailed that right there.
So it sounds like the main issue is we're not very good at getting ahead.
Yeah. We gotta get ahead in that first inning. If not, then the figures will tell you that we aren't going to win the game.
Perfect. So here's the question that I completely skipped over for you. I haven't given any answers for it or anything. Wanted to leave it for you. Fred emailed us again, stadiumdrivesports@gmail.com. If you guys want to email us any questions or comments. But Fred said, do you think Mondesi will be a starter when he returns from the IL?
We would like him to, but it's not going to be kind of like a label that per se that he's our starter. What you'll see is you'll see him in a game and you'll see him in a different game, and he'll take a break. We'll give him a little break, and then you'll see him in that third game. You know, it's just kind of a plug and play at this point with him. If he's 100% healthy, then he'll be ready to go, and we're going to put him right in the lineup, of course. We're not going to hold him back. But the thing is about it, he's not as solid as you'd think. You know, that's why I'm not going to say that, yeah, he's just going to be our starter and you'll see him every day, because I do think that we've got some answers that we need from him in order to be trustworthy of him for an everyday player. That might just be it's just my opinion.
A lot of mixing and matching at second base, shortstop, and third.
Yeah, a lot of plug and play. That's what I'm seeing. And this is the year for experimentation and trying to figure some things out with these young guys. If these middle guys can't figure it out, I'll tell you what, they're tradable.
That's why the aliens were here. It was the experimentation that brought
Yes.
the aliens here. Okay.
Yes, lots of experimentation going on with the Royals. And I'm waiting to see Vinny Pasquantino at first. That's what I'm waiting on next. Maybe some Nick Prado. Go ahead, bring him up.
Yeah, Vinny's raking in the minors right now.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I'd like to see, honestly, I'd like to see them both go. You can replace Santana and O'Hearn with Prado and Vinny. Why not?
Why
not? If we were winning, I'd be fine. Like, let's keep a couple of young guys in the minors, leave us some excitement for next year. But with as bad as it's gotten, like, let's go for it. I know you like to continue to develop, right? But again, we could play around with, bring them up for a little bit, send them back down. Like, we don't have to just call them up and say, okay, you're a big leaguer now. Like, we still have that flexibility. We can bring them kind of up and down as we go. But
the Royals are one of those teams that will do that, and they will send you down and bring you right back up. That's why you can't get down as a player if you ever put in that situation. And one guy who's handled that pretty well is Dylan Coleman. We sent him down, brought him right back up, and so far in these last few games, he's pitched well.
Yeah, sometimes getting put down, and then sometimes that call back up really sparks people. I mean, you saw what Singer did when he got called back up twice in a row. He put out very solid outings. If anybody remembers, we did that with a couple of stud players too. We did it with Alex. We actually that was a whole different ordeal, though. We changed his position and everything. But if you remember, we did that with Moose too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was
Moose was young and he wasn't hitting
mainly
well.
pertaining to his batting average.
That's when he came back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he came back up and started hitting opposite field a lot more.
Yeah,
and his batting average skyrocketed after that. If we wouldn't have sent him down, who knows if Moose ever would have been who he became? Would we have been able to make a run
absolutely.
at the World Series without him?
Yeah.
So they do it for a reason. They're pros.
Yep.
They get paid to do that. You know what I mean? They know better than we do. As much as we want to think we know it all, they know what they're doing.
Yep.
Let's see. So I did a couple of Chiefs questions. So I have another Royals question here for you. Paul sent us an email and he asked, who will catch more games the rest of the season, Salvi or MJ?
Well, I'm going to have to give it to Salvi and he's not going to get he'll get the majority, but it's going to be closer to about 60%. And I would say MJ Melendez, but you also have to take into consideration we still have Cam Gallagher on our team. Okay, we're expecting him back, and he might eat up some of MJ's games. But me personally, I like MJ Melendez better. I'd like to see more games out of him. And if he keeps up his streak, it might spell bad news for Cam Gallagher. But all in all, I do think Salvi, we've got a lot of money invested in him. Okay, we really want to get him behind the plate. And yeah, we want to preserve him, but we save ourselves a lot of wild pitches and base runners stealing bases, little things like that add up during the game and at the end of the season. We need as much as we can out of Salvi. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Salvi's definitely much better behind the plate. I mean, Salvi's one of the best there's ever been behind the plate. I do like that we have Melendez who can relieve him. And Salvi doesn't have to catch every game like he basically has done for the most part, in the past. So, yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, 60-40.
60-40, yeah.
Yeah. With it. Let's see. Chase says Gallagher sucks. MJ has more upside. 100%
Absolutely.
agree with you there, Chase.
Well, there's something about MJ Melendez.
Chase also says, I've been trying to give –
Oh, I was going to say something about MJ Melendez with his body structure and he's fast as a catcher and he's got that smooth swing, and you don't see that too often as a catcher. They're usually those big bulky guys, but hey, if he can do a great job behind that plate, I'd love to see him in the batter's box as well. So.
Yeah, he's definitely the future.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Chase also says, I've been trying to give Dayton Moore the benefit of the doubt. It's time to fire him. This would be 14 out of 17 losing seasons.
Well, and Dayton Moore is not one to be self-conscious about what he does, he'll put himself right there on stage and just say, blame me, put it all on me. He never wants to bring up the name Piccolo at all, and he doesn't want to throw anyone under the bus. So, you're going to hear this from the fans, and that stat is overwhelming. But my question to you is, who are you going to replace him with? If you don't have an answer for that,
valid question.
I'm sorry, but he's one of the top tier GMs in the league. But maybe there is somebody better. Maybe we do need to venture out and figure out if there is somebody loose that could do a good job. It would be a great idea to figure out our options. Not too many people ask that question without going over the options. It's easy to just say, get rid of somebody if they're doing bad. But if there's no viable option to replace them, I'm sorry, but the problem, the solution might be somewhere else.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Once the end of the season gets here and we can look at who's available for the GM spot, then I think we can start to have a real discussion of should we move on from him? Because again, yeah, it is easy to say, he sucks, get rid of him, but does the person you're bringing in, do you have more faith in them or not? You can't just do it just to have somebody new if you don't have the faith in them.
What helps is eras. If we feel like there's another turning of the page in our organization, then we'll do it. And one of the things that's coming up would be a stadium move. Now, if something as drastic as that happened, then yeah, they might shake house, and John Sherman might, unveil a whole new cabinet of people. So who knows? That we're kind of a far away from that. I'm thinking about 8 to 10 years or something. I have no idea when they're planning on moving downtown, but I don't know. We've got some time between now and then. Is there an era between now and when we move? We'll find out. But
I think yes. I think yes. I think we will have one era between now and then. I could see it after this year or after next year.
Yeah.
Having kind of a turnover within it. And then when you go to make that move, you're, 6-7 years in with your new regime, which is a good enough sample size to decide, is this who we're moving with, if they do make that move, or do we want to make another fresh start?
So, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. He's had his window to do what he can after we won that championship to see if we can build and blossom into something. And, yeah, I think there is enough time before we move to maybe fit in another era. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, it's like you said, this current wave is going to decide his fate.
Yeah.
And I think if we're talking this current wave, and if the organization has the same thought process, I feel like you kind of have to give him next year. You can't bring up a bunch of rookies and say, all right, make or break.
Well,
you got a bunch of rookies, go do it.
Absolutely.
You're right. I feel like you kind of have to give him that second year. So I think we're kind of on the same page with how we could see that kind of venturing out and going. What do you got to say here, Chase? He says they need to worry about putting a consistent competitive team on the field before talking about a new stadium. Now, I don't disagree with you, but the business side of things comes into play. If we're still not competitive, you say, well, we suck, so we're not going to get a new stadium? Or do you get that new stadium to help kind of revive some of the excitement and bring something new to the table for the franchise to help kind of invigorate the fans? Because ultimately it is a business. You want to make money. So whatever they can do to help invigorate the fans, I think they have to take into consideration whether they are consistently competitive or not. But I personally, I have been a Royals fan my entire life, and at no given point have I ever expected us to be consistently competitive. I expect us to hit little windows, 2 to 3 years. Now, ideally, you would like it to be, within a 15, well, I'd say within a 12-year span, 3 or 4 of those years is a window where you can be truly competitive. Unfortunately, we're only doing that every 30 years right now, right? We went from 85 all the way to 2014, basically, before we were truly competitive again, right? So we need to shrink that window down. As far as being competitive year in and year out, unfortunately, you're really just not going to get that out of a small market team, which I know hearing the phrase small market team always sounds like such an excuse. But you got to look at the payroll and look at what you can afford. There's a reason that we didn't end up with the best outfield the majors have ever seen with Beltran, Dye, and Damon, at their peaks. We couldn't afford it. We are a small market team. We unfortunately don't have the money these other teams have. So I would love us to be consistently competitive, but I think we really have to look at these different windows and just hope we can hit certain windows within certain time frames. You know what I mean? What do you think, Sean? You on the same page?
Oh, yeah, 100% agree. And when we find these windows through our young players that develop and try to blossom at the same time and try to get them good, all rolling at the same time, that's when you implement your good free agents and spend that money. That's when you spend that money, is when that one window is open. Otherwise, you're really just hoping on your young players to gel and come together and make something happen almost out of nothing, So that's the kind of team we are. You don't like it? Go be a Yankees fan, and you can go buy your wins. We earn. We work hard.
Yeah.
We run. We play defense. We keep the line moving. That's what we do in Kansas City. But I'm sorry if we're not consistent every single year. But like Kevin said, we're just not that type of team. And baseball is that type of sport. It's not really like football, to where you have a chance to run a dynasty and everybody knows that you can. The thing about baseball is, it is very true. The better baseball teams stick together. Everybody knows everybody, and they work together as a team. Everybody knows that. So you're right when it comes to that. When it comes to you want to see somebody competitive year in and year out, but like Kevin said, we just can't afford it.
Yeah, if you look at our roster, I do like a lot of our young guys. There's some young guys that I think may not pan out. They may end up being just role players that kind of fill in here or there. But we have some guys that I think could be like legit, like big leaguers, like all-stars or borderline all-star players that we have in this organization right now. And if you look at the development, if you look 3 years down the road, I could easily see, if we're talking 3 years down the road and we're looking 2025, I think that's about the time that I think a window could be opening up. And like you said, we become buyers, right? You go out and you pay for pitching. You pay for that one extra bat that you need to come in and really make the difference for you. So I think we're 3 years out from really contending, but I think we could really be contending in 3 years. This isn't that kind of false hope that I feel like we were fed for all of the 2000s, right? Yeah. 2000 through 2010 was a whole lot of false hope.
Yeah, and we've got an extra playoff spot to work with.
But you think back to it, who did we have that you were really excited about? Yeah. So I like the roster. I like where it's going. We just got to be able to get to that window, get these guys developed where they need to be, and then, like you said, go ahead and be buyers at that point.
Yeah, and we
take the young guys and give them what they need.
And we try to be smart with our money, and we try to get a lot of these kind of a big bat just to fit in there, and they're cheap. But the problem is they suck. So I can't stand it when the Royals do that, and they're nobodies, and they think that they're smart by saving money to fill in and just hope that this guy like a Matt Stairs or a Lucas Duda, those big guys that they just bring in, or a Carlos Santana. Stop it. Just stop. You're wasting your money playing money ball. Leave that to the Oakland A's. I like doing.
We had one guy that worked out with that, and it was a very short window. I actually was not a fan of him, but he gave us some success, and that was Kendrys Morales. Yeah. He was that exact same type,
exactly.
But he gave us a little window of some success. The beginning of it was trash. Not good right off the bat, but he gave us a little glimpse and gave us what we needed when we needed it from him. But he was another signing. It was that same thing. He just happened to be the one that we hit on at the right time.
Yes, and it doesn't happen too often. That's why Kendrys Morales was one of a fan favorite, because he knew how cheap he was, and he was just that big bat that we can just pinch hit and throw in there, and he came through. Very good, very good. But a lot of times it just doesn't work out that way. You'd like to just develop your main hitters. Like an MJ Melendez is just hard to come by. He's a young guy who has power, speed, and versatility. I mean, geez, that's what you want to pay for. You don't want to go to the bottom of the barrel on the free agency like we do a lot of the times.
Yeah, absolutely. This is our last email question that we received. This one came in from Tony. Tony says the Royals obviously won't be buyers at the trade deadline.
No.
Agreed. Do you think they will be sellers, or do you think they will just sit tight?
It's coming up soon. The trade deadline is very soon. My only guess would be 3 different players, and that's it. And if it's not these 3, then we're not going to do anything. One is Andrew Benintendi. He's number 1. He's a left-hander, and of course, you know that he's our best batter. And the other guys are going to be your young pitcher, will be like a Brady Singer or a Daniel Lynch. Those are the most actually, they won't be the number 1 trade. Those guys will just be on like a side thing for him or whatever. Brad Keller, yeah, he's like a main piece. And Andrew Benintendi's a main piece. Merrifield, yes. But other than them, I just don't see us having any value when it comes to any trading that's going to be done at this deadline that's coming up really quick. I say with the Royals record, we're just going to run with it and see what we can get out of it. Sure, we'll put our offers out there, and it's up to these other teams to bite. And I think Andrew Benintendi is the one that would go out of everybody, if you ask me. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah. I agree with that. By the way, trade deadline's August 2nd. Mm-hmm. Benintendi, Keller, Merrifield, I think those would be kind of the top 3 candidates.
Yeah.
I think a dark horse candidate, which would be very, very, very unpopular.
Oh, Salvi. Oh, don't even
Salvi.
say it. Yeah, I know. But we've got too much money invested in him. He's just a clubhouse guy.
If you're trading him, the money you have invested in him doesn't matter because you're trading him. You're getting assets back.
Ooh.
We have MJ Melendez, young up and comer. We're not competing right now. Like it from a business standpoint, just business standpoint on the field, like it makes sense to consider it. But like you said, from a locker room standpoint, from a personality standpoint, a leadership standpoint, it doesn't make sense. From a PR standpoint, it makes no sense because you think nobody's coming to games now? Trade Salvador Perez. You're going to be able to talk to somebody on the opposite side of the field in a regular voice, and they will be able to hear you in the middle of the game. There will be nobody there.
And then you'll need a new captain, a new leader in the locker room, and it's probably going to end up being a rookie. And when he goes in a slump, that's just going to bring down your entire team. You're going to need a veteran, and I don't know if Zach Greinke is that prominent of a speaker. No, he hates speaking.
Definitely not. I'm going to knock on wood real quick on the Salvi comment for you guys. I know none of us want to see it happen, but I figured I would throw that out there because crazier things have happened. Oh man, I could not imagine if they did. Like that would be outrageous. But do you have anything else? Anything else for the show here today, Sean?
Nope, just hoping this rain subsides and the sun comes out and gives us a good 10-game homestand coming up. We've got the Houston Astros, we've got the Toronto Blue Jays, and then we have the Baltimore Orioles coming to town. Hoping for good weather, hoping for some W's. And I am hoping to make some good beer money because I'll be out there selling that beer and taking pictures.
Yeah, if you guys go out to the K, keep an eye out for Sean. He'll be wearing a very bright vest, and he will be yelling out. What will you be yelling out as you walk around?
Coors Light, Miller Lite, Boulevard Wheat, cold beer.
That is the voice to listen for. So keep your eye out for Sean if you guys go out to a game. If you do run into Sean or you see him out there, stop him real quick. Be like, hey, Stadium Drive Sports, right? And he may even take a picture or do a little quick interview with you guys and get you on the show if you want him to. So keep an eye out for Sean. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, my name is Kevin Britton, host of the 12th Man at Arrowhead Drive. Be sure to tune in every Sunday and Wednesday for all your Chiefs content right here on Stadium Drive Sports. Sean, one more time, let the people know.
Yep, like I said, I'll have your pictures ready to post on the Royal Way. You get an inside look inside Kaufman at the game right here on Stadium Drive Sports every Monday and Thursday. I am your host, Sean Barr, and that is the Royal Way, and this is the Combo Show, and I thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week. All right, Kev.
Absolutely.
We'll see you too.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time.